Hello everyone! I bet you can't guess what I'm filming today. Before I start this review, I just want to say that I just hit 100 subscribers and I just cannot believe that I did it. I am so thankful for every single one of you who subscribed to my channel. I know 100 is not a lot. It is not a ton by any means, but it is a lot to me, so I am very, very grateful for all of you who subscribe to me. So with that being said, I will just jump into the rest of my review. Today I am going to be reviewing Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. This is it. This is the 8th Harry Potter book. I actually did not read this the day it came out because my dad tricked me. I pre-ordered this book on Saturday and I told him that I pre-ordered it. And then he was totally cool with it, whatever. And about 10 minutes later, he tells me, actually, you don't need to pre-order it. I will pre-order it. And that should have set off a little bit of a red flag for me, but it didn't, at least at the time. And so I'm like, okay, sure, like whatever, you can buy it, that's fine. I don't need to spend my money, you can spend yours, it's all good. But then, of course, it arrived on Sunday, which was really cool because no mail on Sundays. Then he was like, well, I get to read it first then because it's my book. And I was so upset because that wasn't fair because I was going to pre-buy it first, but whatever. I read it the day after. I finished it in a day. I was very, very excited for this book to come out, but I haven't reread the Harry Potter books in a long time. I should really have a reread of those books again, but I was too young to read them on my own, and I didn't really like reading at the time these were coming out. So my dad read all of the Harry Potter books to me, and I read the 7th book on my own. So while I do really, really like Harry Potter a lot, I think it's a great story, I'm not as into it as a lot of people. But that's not saying that I don't like Harry Potter. It's just that I wasn't as crazy excited about it as a lot of other people, but I still was really excited. I don't really think I have to explain what Harry Potter is about and what this is about. And I actually didn't even read the inside flap of this book. I just picked it up and started reading, so I really didn't even know what it was about until I got into the story. So there really isn't much I can say without spoiling the book. I did give it a 4 out of 5 stars. It was a lot funnier than I expected it to be. I was actually laughing out loud in a lot of different places, which doesn't really happen a lot. So I really, really liked that. But I did have a problem with a few of the characters and how they were portrayed. And so that's why I really couldn't give it a 5 out of 5 stars. But I did really, really enjoy it. And that's pretty much all I can say without spoiling you. So if you have read Harry Potter, I obviously suggest reading this book. And then once you finished it, you can come back and listen to the rest of my review. Before I start my review, I am a proud Slytherin. That is my house. It is the best house. But unfortunately, I don't have any Harry Potter gear at all. I think I have Hermione's wand, but that's about it. So I'm wearing green. I don't have any Slytherin stuff, but I am proudly representing my house today in my review. Even though I'm sort of dressed as Harry Potter with the scar and the glasses. And as I said previously, I am a proud Slytherin. So when Albus was talking trash about the house, I'm like, excuse you, don't talk bad about the Slytherin house. It is the best. And I loved Scorpius the minute I saw him. In the Harry Potter series, Draco Malfoy is my favorite character. I love villains. There's not really a surprise there. And so when I saw Scorpius, I just instantly fell in love with him. I felt so bad for him though when everyone thought that Voldemort was his father. It's just terrible. When Rose made the nose joke though, I died because Albus didn't know what the rumor was. So then Rose was like, the rumor is he's Voldemort's son, Albus. And then Rose looked at Scorpius and she's like, I mean, probably rubbish. You have a nose. I was really, really proud of Albus for staying with Scorpius when Rose left because that was just super nice. I knew Albus was going to be Slytherin and I'm so pumped for it. Even though he hated it and he was so upset about it, I was still really excited. The daddy issues between Albus and Harry really got me upset. I did not expect that. I just really don't like how Albus hates Harry. It's like, don't hate on your dad. It's not his fault that he was the boy who lived and you can't blame him for that, and I just hate seeing them fighting all the time. I was really sad when Astoria died. We didn't really know her at all, but I still really like Draco as a character, and his wife dying is just really sad, and I felt so bad, especially for Scorpius too. When Harry wanted to give Albus the blanket, it just touched me so much, and Albus just was being terrible about it, and he was not accepting this super heartwarming gift that Harry was trying to give him. I'm like, Albus, take the damn blanket already. Stop breaking Harry's heart and take the blanket. The scene when Harry and Albus fought and Albus said that he wished Harry wasn't his dad, and then Harry says that he wishes Albus wasn't his son. It was a very heartbreaking scene, but I also was upset about it in more than it just being sad. It just didn't seem like Harry's character. Throughout this book, a lot of the times, Harry just didn't seem like Harry Potter. I could never see him getting that upset that he would say to one of his own children that he wishes they weren't his child. I can't see it. And I can see Harry getting mad. I'm not saying that Harry can never be angry or upset at his kids, but I could never see him saying that ever. I could just see him being very patient with Albus and just being upset that Albus hates him so much, but also just keeping the situation calm. I could never see Harry getting that angry and that mad and blaming Albus and being mean to Ginny. That was just one thing that really bothered me about the whole book in general. But Scorpius is my nerd baby. I love him so much. He's just so cute. I loved when Albus hugged him. He's like, have we hugged before? Do we hug? I just loved that. When Albus mentioned going back in time, I didn't like it. I don't like time travel because it's too confusing, and the whole book you can tell that there was just too many things that get messed up when you time travel. So when he mentioned it, it was not good. When they all found out that Albus and Scorpius ran from the train, I felt really bad for Harry. I felt even worse for Draco because Draco mentions that Scorpius is the only family he has, and that was just really sad. I love when they are trying to find the time turner and the book starts talking, and then Delphi was like, what have you done? And Scorpius is like, I opened a book, something which has, in all my years on this planet, never been a particularly dangerous activity. Even though it was just a painting, I'm really happy that Dumbledore made his appearance because it's not really the real Dumbledore, but it was really nice to see Harry and him talking again. And already I knew that when they would time travel, it would all go wrong, and it did. Ron wasn't married to Hermione anymore, and Scorpius couldn't talk to Albus anymore. It was not okay, and it just got worse after that. That whole scene, it all reminded me of that Sweet Life of Zack and Cody episode, except 30 times worse. If you've ever watched that show, you know what I'm talking about, when they did the whole like switcheroo thing, and Maddie was dumb and London was smart. It seriously reminded me of that. But Albus and Scorpius not being friends is just the death of me. It was so sad. And when Scorpius was crying and Draco defended him, it made me tear up a little bit. The scene when Draco comes to confront Harry, it was a very serious moment, but I couldn't help but laugh at just one part of the writing. Harry asked Draco if Scorpius really was his child, and then Draco was like, "You take that back right now," said, but Harry doesn't take it back. I couldn't help but laugh. I know it was a really serious moment, but just how that was written was just too funny. And Scorpius came back to Albus and was talking to him, and Albus was still kind of trying to push him away because he knew that they couldn't be together. And it was just very, very heartbreaking because Scorpius is basically saying how even though Albus might not like Harry as a dad, at least he doesn't have rumors about him being Voldemort's son and all of this stuff. It was just very, very emotional. McGonagall is a straight up G for trying to warn Albus and Scorpius that she was coming in. I love that scene so much, and especially when they went under the invisibility cloak and then she's like, "Oh, well, if I didn't see them, I didn't see them." When they went back in the world when Harry died, it took a very dark and morbid turn. It was, I don't know what I was expecting. I knew it was going to be bad, but it was a lot worse than I thought it was going to be. It was actually quite disturbing. When we saw Snape again, though, I was so excited for him to be back. Scorpius telling Snape all the things that Harry said about him actually made me tear up. It was so heartwarming, and I'm so happy that Snape knew how Harry felt about him. It was just too good. Snape was seriously awesome in this book, though. I love when, even though it was sad, I loved when Scorpius told Snape that he was gonna die, and then Scorpius said he would die by Voldemort's hand, and then Snape was like, "How very irritating." And I could just imagine Snape saying that, and it was so funny. The scene when Scorpius was reunited with everyone again, he was just so cute. He was like, "Harry, it's Harry Potter, and Ginny, and Professor McGonagall, and Dad, my dad. Hi, Dad." I just could imagine him saying that in just such a cute, voice, and he got so excited, and I love Scorpius so much. It's the little things, but it got me really excited when Albus was saying good things about the Slytherin dorms, just because he basically accepted being a Slytherin, and that made me really, really happy, because proud Slytherin. I'm going to mention it again, but Harry just being so angry with Scorpius just did not make sense. And one scene in the book that really just confused me, when Harry and Albus were talking, Albus said, "I don't think Scorpius said, but when we returned after failing to fix the first task, I was suddenly in Gryffindor house. Nothing was better between us either, so the fact that I'm in Slytherin, that's not the reason for our problems. It's not just about that." And then Harry says, "I know, it's not just about that." And that scene really confused me because in the beginning of the book, the first page basically, Harry said that he wouldn't mind if Albus was in Slytherin because Snape was a Slytherin and he named Albus after Snape. So him saying, "No, it's not just about you being in Slytherin," doesn't make any sense because Harry didn't care. I just don't understand that because in the beginning, Harry said he wouldn't care if Albus was in Slytherin, but in that line, it implies that Harry cared that he was in Slytherin. It just didn't make sense to me. Later on, Ginny and Harry were talking. Ginny asked, "What did you say to our son, Harry?" And he said, "I tried to be honest like you said. I didn't say anything." And then Ginny said, "And you controlled yourself? How heated did it get?" And her saying that makes it seem like Harry has anger issues, and I don't like that. It just puts a bad feeling in my stomach because Harry just isn't like that. He never was like that, and her making that comment about controlling himself just makes it seem like he has anger issues, and that's not okay. I totally didn't expect Scorpius to lie about losing the time turner, but it was genius. I went back to reread that part where he said he lost it. Then it says in italics, he immediately registers what they know, and then he said, "I've lost it, I've lost the time turner." So he is a sneaky little devil. I love it. I love the scene when they were back in time and they were at the final stage of the Triwizard Tournament, and then Cedric Diggory came in and he says, I heard screaming. I had to come. I could just see him like standing there being a knight in shining armor, and I thought it was a really funny scene. I really don't know how I feel about Voldemort having a daughter. It's just weird. It's weird, and he had it with Bellatrix, which is even weirder. I just don't know how I feel about it. The scene when Scorpius and Harry were trying to figure out how to stop Delphi, and then I can't help but laugh, I'm sorry. Scorpius says, we send a memory, like a pensieve. Stand over him and send a message. Hopefully he reaches for the memory at the exact right moment. I mean, it's unlikely, but stand over the baby and just repeatedly shout, help, help, help. I mean, it might traumatize the baby slightly. And then Albus is like, only slightly. I just love that scene so much. It was so funny. I was literally laughing for 5 minutes. And then finally the blanket comes into play. Thank you, Albus, for throwing a tantrum before, because you guys would not have escaped if you didn't. The whole battle, though, with Delphi seemed very quick, and I really wasn't expecting a whole battle scene like in the 7th book against Voldemort. I don't know, it just seemed very fast to me, and I kind of wish there was a little bit more. I really did not want it to end, though, even though I did have a few problems with the book. I want to see more of Albus and Scorpius's friendship because they are the best of friends. Overall, I really, really enjoyed this book. It was very good. It was very entertaining. One thing I would love to hear your thoughts about is who you think the cursed child is. I don't think it's Albus. When I was talking to my dad about the book, I said I thought it was Scorpius because when Draco was talking to Harry about Astoria, he said that Astoria's grandmother, I think, was cursed. So Astoria had that curse as well. So that's why I thought Scorpius could possibly be the cursed child. But my dad made a good point and said that Delphi might be the cursed child because she's Voldemort's child. So I would love to hear your thoughts of who you actually think the cursed child is, if you agree with me, if you don't. I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe to my channel, please feel free to, and I will talk to you next time. Bye! The daddy issues between Albus. Oh my god, I cannot talk today.